You're watching ABC10 Plus Tonight.
Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Thomas. You're watching ABC10 Plus Tonight. Concerns and questions about immigration as President Donald Trump takes office for the second time and signs executive orders. And we look at the economic impact of tougher immigration, what it could mean for the state of California. ABC10 Plus Tonight starts now.
His inauguration today marks a unique moment in history and a new chapter for the U.S. Trump's swearing in happening inside the Capitol building because of frigid temperatures in Washington, D.C. It's also where he announced his first actions as the 47th President of the United States.
Tonight, we do have live team coverage, and Christian Cadero starts us off with more from Capitol Hill. Let's take a listen.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
In a remarkable political comeback, Donald Trump today took the oath of office.
So help me God.
Becoming only the second president in U.S. history to serve 2 non-consecutive terms. The ceremony moved into the Capitol Rotunda because of the cold, emotional crowds watching from overflow locations. This morning at the White House, President Joe Biden welcomed the man who was both his successor and predecessor. In his inaugural address, the 47th president started with an overarching campaign-like promise.
The golden age of America begins right now.
Before zeroing in on several executive actions.
All illegal entry will immediately be halted, and we will begin the process of returning millions and millions of criminal aliens back to the places from which they came. We will reinstate my Remain in Mexico policy.
Planned mass deportations could start as soon as tomorrow. Trump looked beyond our borders in his closing message with this vision of American prosperity.
The United States will once again consider itself a growing nation, one that increases our wealth, expands our territory, builds our cities, raises our expectations, and carries our flag into new and beautiful horizons. And we will pursue our manifest destiny into the stars, launching American astronauts to plant the stars and stripes on the planet Mars.
And breaking news in Washington tonight as the Senate gives the president his first cabinet confirmation. They unanimously approved Marco Rubio to serve as Secretary of State. He was the least controversial nominee, and it's typical for the Senate to confirm at least some of the new president's top cabinet nominees on Inauguration Day. Meanwhile, the president plans to use executive orders to make big changes to policies, including immigration, starting today.
So many of you are wondering, what exactly is an executive order? It's a directive to agencies like the Department of Homeland Security and Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, for example, instructing them how to enforce laws. Since 1937, there have been thousands of executive orders signed by presidents. Some are simple, like giving federal workers a day off. Others are complicated and controversial, like President Franklin D. Roosevelt's order that led to Japanese internment during World War II. According to the Federal Register, in his first term, President Trump signed 220 executive orders compared to Biden's 160.
Now, among the orders signed today, one declares an emergency at the U.S.-Mexico border. The president says the process will start to send anyone in the country illegally back to their country of origin. And drug cartels will be designated as foreign terrorist organizations. The Trump administration also outlined executive orders declaring the U.S. government will only recognize a person's gender assigned at birth, prohibiting federal funds from being used in programs that acknowledge people who identify as transgender.
It will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only 2 genders, male and female.
Donald Trump also declared a national emergency when it comes to energy, rolling back limits on offshore drilling and natural gas drilling. He also says he'll eliminate diversity, equity, and inclusion programs in the federal government. And tonight, as President Trump signs new executive orders, there is a sense of urgency among immigrants trying to figure out a way to protect themselves.
We're hearing from an immigration attorney and the California Immigrant Policy Center tonight. ABC 10's Roxanne Elias joins us live in studio with the details. Roxanne, what are you hearing from these advocates?
Well, Laura and Chris, immigrants are not only trying to protect themselves, but also their families, the homes that they own, and investments they've made while living here in America. and they now fear losing all of it if they are deported. In Ciudad Juarez, Mexico, a mother is shedding tears after her CBP appointment was canceled on President Trump's Inauguration Day. In the past, President Joe Biden's CBP One Legal Entry program had allowed hundreds of thousands of migrants to enter the U.S. legally by scheduling an appointment on the app. And here at home,
it's really dark times that we're about to face.
Immigration attorney Julian Sanchez Mora says immigrants are living in uncertainty as they wait to see what executive orders President Trump signs. He's been busy receiving calls in the last 2 weeks, with people mostly concerned about being stopped by ICE or Customs and Border Patrol. The California Immigration Policy Center has been hearing the same.
The biggest concerns that we're hearing from folks is mass deportation. That was a slogan for the Trump campaign, and so he echoed that today in his speech. There's a list of executive orders that will be signed this afternoon. Once those are signed, then they start moving some things into motion.
Polo Morales says every state is going to have an impact if mass deportations move forward. And it doesn't just involve the Latino community. Immigrants include Asian Americans and people from the Middle East and Africa. And everyone has rights.
Just like any individual in the U.S., regardless of immigration status, everyone is entitled to protection under the U.S. Constitution. They have the right to remain silent. They have the right to an attorney. They should not talk to an immigration officer. They should enforce those rights.
Morales also expects there will be challenges made to some of the executive orders, as they've seen from the first administration.
We should not let fear take over us. We should prepare as much as we can.
We do know is we need the state to be able to step in and be able to say, actually, it's against our own self-interest to be able to follow suit, because it's going to have a detrimental economic impact on our state.
The California Immigrant Policy Center says now is the time to start carrying your ID and any paperwork with you, and you should have an attorney's phone number on you in case you are stopped. Chris, Laura.
All right, Roxana Elias, thank you for the update. We have breaking news on the immigration front. The Senate just passed a bill that would require federal authorities to detain migrants accused of theft and violent crimes. The Laken Riley Act is named after a Georgia nursing student who was murdered by a migrant. This is the first measure President Donald Trump will likely sign into law and gives more weight to his plans to deport millions of undocumented immigrants. And if you missed any part of the second inauguration of President Donald Trump, ABC 10 Plus has you covered. On the home screen, you can watch President Trump's full inauguration address. You can also watch other inauguration moments, such as Trump being sworn in. Under the News tab, now playing playlist. The ABC 10 Plus TV streaming app is free to download on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, or wherever you stream on your TV.
How could crackdowns at the border and mass deportations impact our wallets? ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen is hearing from the experts tonight, asking what could happen to produce and the cost of food.
Well, Alex, California is a prime supplier in the world's food supply, but experts tell me crops in the state are at risk of rotting in the fields, leading to higher costs and less supply.
We supply 60% of the leafy greens that our nation consumes on a daily or monthly or annual basis.
Norm Groot with the Monterey County Farm Bureau represents farm workers and ranchers. And with the responsibility to supply that much produce nationwide and globally, he says it requires a lot of manual labor.
We need 55,000 farm workers to harvest our crops each year.
The Public Policy Institute of California says more than 90% of California farm workers are immigrants, and more than half of those are undocumented.
Many immigrants, including undocumented immigrants, are members of our community, contribute to our economy, are workers, attend our churches, go to our schools, and to have a large part of our community scared.
President Donald Trump has repeatedly threatened mass deportations and sweeping border crackdowns, leaving many farm workers anxious.
If we are unable to have crews to harvest those crops, they will sit in the field and they will not be harvested, nor will they make it to the marketplace.
And if that happens, Groot says people can expect to pay more for fruits and vegetables.
There definitely could be an impact to the consumer supply chain if there are shortages, and that means higher prices through supply and demand.
Right now, Groot says crops are not being produced because of the winter season. He says he and his community are keeping an eye on the situation in Washington and doing their best to educate people of their rights if they are approached by Homeland Security.
Are we really doing ourselves a favor by attacking those who are at one time considered essential workers during the pandemic, and now suddenly that equation is flipped the other way?
The UC Davis Immigration Law Clinic does provide resources to people without legal documentation. Those resources include legal representation and advice. More details on those programs can be found on our website at abc10.com. Alex.
Now to an ABC 10 exclusive. Care Court has been in place for just over a month now in Sacramento County. As part of the 2022 CARE Act, counties had to start by December 1st.
ABC 10's Devin Truby has been covering this for more than a year now as the county worked to meet the deadline. First on ABC 10, she has an inside look at Care Court.
Department 8 is an ordinary courtroom. It's Care Court.
Care Court is another pathway into treatment, mental health services.
Nicole Cable oversees Care Court in Sacramento County, a program put in place in 2022 designed to help people struggling with mental health disorders getting treatment throughout the court. To qualify for Care Court, you must be 18 years or older, someone experiencing schizophrenia or other psychotic disorders, not stabilized with ongoing voluntary treatment, or unlikely to survive in the community without help. CARE stands for Community Assistance, Recovery, and Empowerment. It was launched here on December 1st, and so far they've received 8 petitions, 7 from family members for their loved ones, and 1 from a county behavioral health services. 2 people are in the court process, and they're looking to find them resources. Some of the unhoused individuals have also been placed into housing while working through the program.
The program is 100% voluntary for participants. The onus, or so to speak, or the mandate is for county behavioral health to offer and provide the services that these individuals are eligible for. And so that's where the mandate is with the state law.
When a petition is filed, it comes to the desk of Judge Larry Brown.
I did request taking on the Care Court, and really in part because I've had the criminal mental health courts for over a decade. And I found it to be some of the most rewarding work I've done.
Judge Brown decides if the petition meets the criteria. Behavioral health gets 30 days to connect. If a person accepts services, Judge Brown says he will not need to see them.
If they're not agreeing to services, then they're going to come before the court for me to make a ruling ultimately whether or not there needs to be a CARE Act order.
Our goal is always to get those CARE agreements, but there is another avenue called a CARE plan where the parties agree on certain aspects of a treatment plan, and the court rules on that and orders that care plan. And that just means that we're going to try to keep trying. We're going to keep trying to engage clients.
There is a review every 60 days for a year. At the year mark, a person can finish the program or continue for another year voluntarily or through a court order.
This is just a court order to have a person get involved in treatment and work with the treatment professionals. Which is very different. There's no power for the court to order someone into a hospital setting by coming into the Care Court.
Care Courts are now in effect across the state of California with services including short-term medication, social services, and housing. Reporting, Devin Truby, ABC 10.
Devin, thank you. Well, Care Courts started in some counties over a year ago as a phased rollout process. The state estimates in its first 9 months, 900 people have been engaged with their county behavioral health department in some way due to the launch of Care Courts.
In Verify, another one of the president's possible executive orders is changing the name Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. But is that possible? The Verify team explains.
We're going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which has a beautiful ring that covers a lot of territory. The Gulf of America, what a beautiful name.
Thousands of people are talking about it online, and Verify viewer Troy asked us whether it can actually be done. Using these sources, let's verify. The U.S. Board of Geographic Names, part of the Department of the Interior, handles naming geographic locations. It can suggest name changes to the Secretary of the Interior, who has the authority to approve them. According to the board's policies, they consider 2 things: how widely a name is used and whether the current name has historical or cultural issues. When it comes to places shared with Mexico, like the Gulf, the board's policy is to consult with Mexico about a proposed name change. But there's no agreement or policy that gives Mexico any say in the final decision. Under federal law, final approval on name changes is given to the Secretary of the Interior, so we can verify the answer is yes. The U.S. government has the power to change the name of the Gulf of Mexico, but that doesn't mean the rest of the world has to go along with it. Name changes approved by the department only affect things published by the U.S. government, so things that they put on maps and in official policies.
Let's turn to your weather impact now, because we had those winds make a return today, Monica. How long does this stick around, huh?
Oh my goodness, and it's also been chilly as well.
I know, this morning with the winds, once they started to pick up and just that chill in the air, it certainly got our attention. The big weather headlines for the winds remain in Southern California as we continue to monitor this red flag warning in effect until tomorrow evening. Critical fire weather continues with the potential for more power outages as well as fire starts. Now, the big difference in Southern California as opposed to Northern California is the critical dryness. Since the beginning of the water year, they haven't even totaled up to 1/4 of an inch for Los Angeles or San Diego and Palm Springs, just slightly over 1/2 inch of rain for Santa Barbara. Now compare that with the northern part of the state and things are faring much better. So in terms of our precipitation, we're about an inch behind because we are starting to see that growing dryness in places like Sacramento as well as San Francisco, Stockton and Modesto, still faring pretty well for Eureka and Redding. It has been a very good start to the water year in November and December, and then January hit. It's just like we turned over the calendar and all of a sudden things started to dry out. We've only had 3/10 of an inch of water so far for the month of January. Now, February and March can be big months for us, but really doesn't look like we're going to get much in the way of wet weather coming in for the end of the month. There is a slight chance. I'm going to be tracking that. As far as the precipitation, though, going well up to the north of us here around that big ridge of high pressure. So we remain dry and cold. Lows today started off in the 20s and 30s throughout the valley, 30s to near 40 for the foothills, and right around the teens for the Sierra. Highs, though, warm nicely. So we're below average for morning lows and above average for afternoon highs with the sunshine in place. Santa Rosa up to 70s, 60s throughout the valley, 50s in the foothills and 30s up top for the Sierra. Big Mountain Backyard. Right now we have 50s and low 60s outside for the valley. We're in the 20s for the Tahoe Basin. I'll look at tomorrow morning's forecast. We started off once again in the 30s. There's that sunrise at 7:19. We'll warm things nicely throughout the day. Lighter winds for our Tuesday as well with that sunset coming in at 5:16. I'll look at the lows over the next 7 days. It is going to be very chilly in the 30s before we start to warm things up ever so slightly this weekend. Here's the reason why. We pick up more clouds in the slight, and I'm saying slight chance of showers for Saturday, but I'm trying to be optimistic here, so we'll continue to monitor this opportunity for certainly Sierra snow and possible showers in Southern California. We'll be keeping a close eye on that. Highs in the meantime near 50 for the Sierra, 50s and 60s down low for the foothills. Across the coast, we're in the 60s after morning lows in the 20s and 30s. So without the winds keeping that warmer air closer to the surface, it is going to be quite cold overnight with lots of frost to start us off. Chance of those showers coming in on Saturday. It's a slim chance, but certainly worth noting, especially after this dry stretch here for our 3-day forecast. We've got highs remaining in the upper 50s to low 60s. If nothing else, we start to cool things down for the weekend forecast back into the 50s. And then right after that, we're back to the dry weather and highs in the 50s and 60s.
Well, it certainly will be nice to break this pattern for a little bit. Such a long, dry stretch.
Certainly is.
And the rain is needed, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, Monica, thank you.
We continue to celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. today.
That's right. And this morning we hear from ABC 10's Marcus Allen, who talked to some students learning about MLK's life and who are planning to participate in today's parade.
Yeah, good morning, happy Monday, and happy Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Today we celebrate his life, his birthday, technically, which is on the 15th, but today we are celebrating. We celebrating? Yeah! We're at Roberts Family Development Center getting to know about other ways to celebrate and what the day means and should mean. Hi, name and what does Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. mean to you?
My name is Jonathan, and it means me waking up every day, going to school with different people, knowing that he fought and he's done a lot for us to be able to go to school with different people and do stuff with different people.
Yeah, because my feeling is the doctor would want us to celebrate every day in the right way, doing the right things, not just today.
Mm-hmm.
All right, how about you?
Dr. King means a lot to me as I get to share my experiences and journeys with my students every day here at the center.
And we should point out that you're not a student. You started out as a student, and now you're helping.
Yes, I was started in 6th grade and then joined and went through high school, came back from college, and now I want to be a teacher with the center.
Got it. And over here, how about you? Currently a student, and what does the day mean to you?
When I wake up every day, I know that Dr. Luther King fight for rights and he marched, and I know that he went to jail multiple times.
Back here, beautiful shirt. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Samia.
And you're helping out and a student here.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you?
I just feel like he means like waking up every day. We continue to do his work by continuing being together as just a community and waking up with everybody, like just having fun and all that.
Give everybody a big round of applause. As we back it up, I'm going to bring in the man, Mr. Roberts, Dale Roberts. So a lot of things were just said that we should celebrate. Wake up every day as celebrating.
Yeah, right.
A student dramatically just said Dr. Martin Luther King went to jail a couple of times.
Yeah, Dr. King did the tough work,
right,
to make sure that we could be in this space today, hanging out with you, talking about Dr. King's birthday.
And what does it mean to see these students that really know, really live it, really embody it?
Well, these students represent why we do the work here at Roberts Fan Development Center. It really is about equality, equity for students, equity for our community, giving them an opportunity to be successful in life.
Got it. Well, we appreciate you giving them a place. All right, so your march and the walk that you're going to participate in takes place where?
We're at Grant High School today, starting at 8:30. We're one of 3 marches citywide going on.
Linking all that to ABC10.com. In the meantime, let's part the curtain. Give yourselves a big round of applause. Celebrate today in any way and every day. Offer peace in the name of love. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Mark. Great to see the young people acknowledge where it all started, where it all came from. And this was last night. Sacramento's Trinity Life Center in North Highlands. Hundreds coming together to honor Dr. King and his legacy.
Those that are disenfranchised, those that can't speak for themselves. And that's what we are about, to keep that dream alive. What do we have in common? What can we celebrate together? And so we're coming together to say we have something to celebrate together, because our future's bright, our best days are still ahead of us, and we are excited about 2025.
Today, many events were held in honor of Martin Luther King Jr. Day, including this rally at Sacramento's Grant High School. It featured the Grant Drumline and the Pacerettes and a march. It also featured 2 middle school drum lines, and sweatshirts were also given out at this event. And one of the largest and longest running MLK events in our area is the annual March for the Dream.
Yeah, this was the 43rd year that thousands of people showed up to march. Take a look. The event started at Hughes Stadium and took people around the Land Park area of Sacramento. Folks came from all walks of life, many including State Attorney General Rob Bonta, say this is just one way to help keep the dream of MLK alive.
This is a time to fight for all of us, all Americans, all Californians.
Dr. King, he opened the doors for so many minority immigrants to this country. The civil rights he fought, maybe that's probably the biggest reason why I am here, from all the way India to here.
Just showing the importance of coming together, and all the colors here, all the different races, we're stronger together. So we just know the importance of MLK's dream, and we want to keep it alive in 2025.
Thanks so much for watching ABC 10 Plus tonight. We are here 24/7 on the free ABC 10 Plus app. You can get your local news and weather anytime, anywhere. I'm Chris Thomas. We'll see you next time.
Trust isn't given, but earned. It's built every day by doing the hard work, putting in the hours, doing the research, holding the powerful accountable, and being there when you need us most. Working hard to earn your trust every day, every newscast, every story. Watch weeknights at 6 or stream live on ABC 10 Plus.
Thanks for watching ABC 10 Plus. And now that you're here, why don't we take a look around and see what else is here?
The very first tile on your left is always going to be streaming 24/7. You can find us adjacent to that, breaking news if it's there. And then right next to that, a replay of the most recent newscast. Whether it's ABC 10 Morning News at 5, 6, or beyond, it's going to be there. The forecast beyond that, and then right beyond that, the news that matters the most. Now that you know the basic tiles, let's go up to the top and take a deeper dive into news. We have every single newscast that you would need, including To the Point with Alex Bell, taking a deeper dive into the issues. Beyond that, ABC 10 Morning News at 5 and 6 and 11, the evening shows as well. Below that, you can watch the top stories from To the Point. Under that, Dollars and Cents, where you can learn how to navigate this challenging economy. And below that, you can watch our award-winning ABC 10 Special Investigations, where we hold the powerful accountable. Going into weather, look, it's the 10-day forecast, getting you ready for the weekend and beyond. Beyond that, sports. I know you care about the Sacramento Kings. We have the most comprehensive guide to anything, everything Kings in the locker room and on the court. We have it. Below that, I know you care about the San Francisco 49ers. We can't mention Bay Sports without talking about the Oakland A's. We have that too. Backing out again, come up to the top and join me on Verify. I'm super excited about this. Our experts are checking the facts, verifying the truth for you. Jump up now to shows. Very excited about this. Oh, look. It's Take a Look. This is my show. I love movies, and if you love movies or streaming shows, whether it's on screens this big, or this big, it's Take a Look. Recently went behind the scenes, sat down with Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix to talk about Joker 2. I love the movie, and oh, I just heard you shout you hate the movie. Jump in, we talk about it on this show. Other shows, Bartell's Backroads, go up and down the state of California, tank of gas getaways, one fuel cell getaway, like places like the Toy Museum. This is what kids did before they had screens. Over here, the Moaning Caverns of Calaveras County, one of the most coveted caves in all of California. You know, watching this show, I discovered there's a cave that could fit the entire Statue of Liberty in your own backyard. You'll find about that and more with Bartell's Backroads. Down below that, To the Point. It is one of my favorite newscasts because they talk about news with Alex Bell the way you talk about news. It's conversational, but in-depth at the same time. Below that, Your California Life. Love this show. Whether it's entertainment, food, beverage, lifestyle, it's there. Desiree Shepherd hosts and does an amazing job. So there you have it. It's ABC 10 Plus, the app. What do you need? We heard you and we got it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for streaming.